Welcome to our math lesson. To help us get warmed up today, I want you to take the number 413 and I want you to write it in three different ways. When you're done writing the number 413 in three different ways, you may unpause the video to continue. All right, so let's just take this number and write it in expanded form. So 413 has 4 hundreds, 1 10, and 3 ones. But I could regroup some of my hundreds or my tens to make this number look different. It would still be the same total as 413, but I could represent it with different hundreds, tens, and ones. Remember, to regroup means to put together or break apart ones, tens, or 100s. So how could we regroup one group of 100? We could regroup it into 10 tens, or we could regroup it into 100 ones, couldn't we? Let's regroup one group of 100 into 10 groups of 10. So we would have, if we took away one group of 100, we would have 300s, but then we gave that hundreds to our tens. So that would be 10 tens plus 1 10, which would be 11 tens. Then we could keep our ones the same and say 3 ones. All right, how else could we do this? We could do this a lot of different ways, couldn't we? We could keep the same number of 100s. We could keep 300s. Let's regroup that 100 from that 400 into 10 tens. And then let's take our one group of 100 and let's regroup that into 10 ones, which would make 13 ones. 300s plus 10 tens plus 13 ones would still equal 413. So this is kind of like flexible thinking, being able to think about our place values in different ways. This helps us when we're regrouping. Okay, we need to be able to regroup in addition and in subtraction. So it's a very important skill for us to practice. Now let's go ahead and begin with our learning target. Our learning target says I can subtract within 1,000 using place value models or drawings. We've talked about place value. Remember, place value is the value that's assigned to the digits based on the position in the number. Here, this 2 represents the value of 2 groups of 10 or 20. Based on its place in the number, that lets me know that it's the tens place, okay? Now let's look at subtract. Subtract means you're taking one number away from another number. So we're going from the whole to a part. We're trying to find the difference. The difference is the result of a subtraction problem. Now let's go ahead and turn in our Ready Math books to page 425. 425. We're going to start with question number 1. Okay? At Brown School, there are 327 girls and 276 boys. I want you to retell this problem in your own words. At the school has some girls and it has some boys, doesn't it? Let's read it again to see what we need to find out, what we're trying to solve. At Brown School, there are 327 girls and 276 boys. How many more girls are there than boys? What do we want to know here? We want to know how many more girls there are than boys. Let's see what information we know. At Brown School, there are 327 girls and 276 boys. How many more girls are there than boys? How many girls are there at Brown School? 327. How many boys are there at Brown School? 276. So when we look at these numbers, 276, and we look at the number 327, which one is larger? 327 is larger, right? If we want to know how much larger, we want to find the difference in 276 and 327, or that distance, okay? We want to know how many are in between 276 and 327. All right, guys, so now what you're going to do is you're going to try this on your own. Think about those different strategies that we know, the models or the drawings that we've been using. You know, you have your virtual base 10 blocks that you can use. You have other drawings or models that you know about. So go ahead and pause the video, solve the problem. When you're done, you may unpause the video. All right, so let's go ahead now and let's start by how we could find the distance. So I kind of modeled it on a number line for you because I wanted you to see that we're trying to travel from 276 to 327 and find basically how many numbers are in between there, okay? So we could do this a couple ways. We could think of 276 plus the difference or the distance would equal the girls, 327. Or we could think of it as 327 take away the boys of 276 would leave us with that missing part of how many there are, how many more girls there are than boys. So we could have solved this a couple different ways. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at page 426 in our Ready Math Journal, and they're going to help us see a couple of different ways that we could solve this, okay? All right, so the first one you could have done is you could have used a picture, or you could have used a model if you used the virtual ones. So when we are subtracting back, we're starting with our total number, 327. 327 has 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 7 ones. Can you see that in this first picture here? Can you see 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 7 ones? Yeah, we can, can't we? Now, it wants us to regroup 100 as 10 tens. So another way that we could look at 327 is saying 2 hundreds, 120 tens, and then 7 ones. So that one group of 100 got broken apart into 10 groups of 10 there. Why did they want us to regroup that 100 as groups of 10? Because we needed to take away 276. If we look at 327 and we look at 276, when we look at our tens place here, 2 tens and 7 tens, which one is larger? 7 tens is larger. Remember, if we have a smaller amount and we're trying to take away a larger amount, then we have to regroup. So they went ahead and regrouped our one group of 100 into 10 tens. Now we're going to take away 276. How would we take away 276? Explain that to someone. First, we would take away 2 hundreds. Then we would take away 7 tens. Then we would take away 6 ones. Now we need to go back and combine that, don't we? Do we have any hundreds? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens and 1 1. So 5 tens, which is 50, plus 1 1 equals 51. Okay? Now let's go ahead and look at another way that you could have modeled it. You could have modeled it on a number line. Here is how they have it done, just kind of like the way that Ms. Gaskins thought about it, thinking about the distance in between those two numbers. So instead of subtracting back for this one, they added up. They started with 276. They added 4 to get to 280. That's that landmarker friendly number, right? Then they added 20 to get to 300. They added 20 more to get to 320. But what do they need to get to find the distance? They need to get to those total number of girls, 327. So they're at 320. They added 7 more to get 327. Where do you see 51 at on the number line? In the jumps, or that distance up here, right? 20 plus 20 is 40, plus 7 is 47 plus 4 more is 51, okay? Now let's go ahead and let's talk about the things that we saw in a little bit more depth. So go ahead and turn over in your Ready Math Journal to page 427. 427. It says compare the digits in each place in 327 and 276. Do you need to regroup to show more tens or more ones? Explain. I want you to go ahead and do that question on your own. All right, so if we compare the digits in 327, we have 300s and 200s. Which one is larger? 300s. We have 2 tens and 7 tens. Which one is larger? 7 tens. Then we have 7 ones and 6 ones. Which one is larger? 7. We could actually even add in the values there just so that we can see those places. It says, do you need to regroup to show more tens or ones? Explain. Do you need to regroup, yes or no, and why? We need to regroup our tens, don't we? Because 20 tens is less than 70 tens. And if we have fewer of something, we can't take away more without regrouping it, okay? So now we're going to regroup our hundreds to show more tens in 327. So in 327, there's 3 hundreds, 2 tens, which has the value of 20, and 7 ones. We could regroup our hundreds to show 200 plus what? 100 plus 20 plus 7. Now we can combine our tens. 200 plus 120 equals 7. So I just combined that one group of 100 that we regrouped and these two groups of 10, 20 that were already there to get 120. How many hundreds, tens, and ones are there after you regroup? Fill in the boxes, then subtract 276. So when we regrouped 300s, we changed it to 200s. When we regrouped our two groups of 10, 20, we gave it the 10 tens from 100. So we have 120 tens now. Now we can subtract. 7 minus 1 is 1. 120 minus 70 is 50. 50 plus 1 is 51. So how many more girls are there than boys? There are 51 girls. 51 more girls than there were boys. All right, now I want you to reflect. Think about what you tried in the Try It. Think about the picture model that we just saw and the number line model that we saw. Which one did you think was the most efficient way for you to subtract three-digit numbers? Go ahead and reflect on that there. All right, now let's go ahead and let's practice through some of these problems where we are going to have to regroup our tens, okay? All right, we are on page 428, number 6. At Taylor School, students go to school for 180 days. They have already been in school for 136 days. How many school days are left? So we need to know how many school days are left. How many days have they been in school so far? They've been in school for 180 days so far. I'm sorry, they have not. How many total days should they be in school? That's 180. So far, they've been in school 136 days. So we want to know how many more days do they need to go to school. Now, we could do these two ways. We could subtract back, or we could add up to find the distance. So we're going to do both of those ways. We're going to start with 180 days. Take away the 136 days that they've already been in school. We could also say 136 days plus however many more days equals 180 days of school, okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and let's start. I'm going to just do a quick drawing of 180. In 180, there's 100, there's 8 tens, and there are 0 ones. Now I need to take away 136. So I need to take away one group of 100. I need to take away 3 tens. Then I need to take away 6 ones. 0 is less than 6. So what do I need to do? I need to regroup one group of 10 as 10 ones. Now I can take away 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I go back and count how many hundreds, tens, and ones I have. I have 4 tens and 4 ones. So there are 44 days. All right, let's check and see if that is true, okay? All right, so I'm going to start with 136, and I need to get to 180. What can I quickly add to get me to a landmark number? I could quickly add 4. 136 plus 4 is 140. Now I need to get to 180. I can quickly add 40 to 140 to get to 180. So I can look at my jumps to tell how far I went from 130 to 180. I went 44 numbers, okay? So let's answer the question. How many school days are left? 44 school days are left, okay? All right, let's go ahead and do number 2. What is 636 minus 353? Show your work. You may use the virtual base 10 blocks. You can use a picture drawing. You can use a number line model. There are different ways that we can do this, right? All right, let's just go ahead and start with the drawing. In 636, how many hundreds are there? There are 6 hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many tens are there in 636? 3 tens. 1, 2, 3. And how many ones are in 636? 6 ones. Okay. Now I'm going to take away 353. So I need to take away how many hundreds? 3 hundreds. 1, 2, 3. I need to take away 5 tens. Let's look. 3 tens, which is 30, and 5 tens, which is 50. Which one is less, 30 or 50? If I have 3 tens, which is 30, and 5 tens, which is 50, which one is greater? 50 is greater. So if I have a fewer number and I'm trying to take away more, I'm going to have to regroup. So let's go back and look. I need to take away 3 hundreds. I need to take away 5 tens, but remember 50 is greater than 30, so I'm going to have to regroup. I need to regroup one group of 100 as 10 tens. Okay. Now I can take away 5 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I need to take away 3 ones. 1, 2, and 3. Now I need to go back and see how much I have left. 2 hundreds, 8 tens, and 3 ones. So I have a total of 283 left. Okay? Would I get the same number, 283, if I added up? What do you think? Yeah, I should, shouldn't I? No matter which strategy I use, as long as I'm doing trying to find that correct missing piece, I should get the same total. So let's go ahead and let's look at that, okay? All right, so I'm going to start with my number line here. I'm going to start with 353, and I need to add up to get 636. If I'm at 353 and I add 200, 353 plus 200 would be 553. But I need to get to 636. So I'm going to go ahead and just add 7 ones to get me to 560. If I'm at 560 and I want to get to 636, I can add 40 to get to 600. Now I need to get to what? 636, so I can add 36 more, and then I could go back and add it up. 200 plus 40 plus 30 plus 6 plus 7. 200 plus 40 plus 30 is 70. Plus 13 would be 283. So both ways that I did it, I still got 283. All right, now you are going to solve number 8 independently, okay? All right, guys, keep working hard. Keep growing your math mind so that we can meet our learning target of I can subtract within 1,000 using place value models or drawings. Bye, guys.